Michel Foucault and the Genealogy of Power. Michel Foucault, 1926–1984, revolutionized the way we think about power, challenging traditional ideas that understood it as something wielded by individuals or institutions. Instead, Foucault proposed that power is omnipresent, relational, and embedded within everyday practices, institutions, and discourses. This insight forms the foundation of his philosophical approach, particularly his concept of genealogy, which examines the historical development of power structures and their influence on human behavior and knowledge. In his seminal work, Discipline and Punish, 1975, Foucault traced the transformation of punishment in Western societies. He argued that pre-modern societies used physical punishment as a public spectacle to assert sovereign power, while modern societies shifted towards more subtle forms of control. This transition reflects the emergence of disciplinary power, which operates through surveillance and normalization rather than overt coercion. Foucault introduced the concept of the panopticon, a theoretical prison design by Jeremy Bentham. The panopticon's architecture allows a single observer to monitor inmates without their knowledge of when they're being watched. Foucault used this as a metaphor for modern power structures, where constant surveillance leads individuals to internalize norms and self-regulate their behavior. This concept of power as productive, rather than purely repressive, marked a significant departure from earlier theories. Disciplinary power extends beyond prisons to schools, factories, military institutions, and hospitals. In each of these spaces, individuals are subjected to routines, hierarchies, and assessments designed to produce docile bodies that are obedient, efficient, and productive. Foucault argued that these mechanisms of control are pervasive and form the backbone of modern social order. Foucault's concept of power knowledge further elaborates on the relationship between power and the production of truth. He argued that power and knowledge are not separate entities but are mutually reinforcing. Knowledge is created within power relations, and in turn, it sustains those relations. For example, medical discourses define health and illness in ways that legitimize certain practices and marginalize others. These definitions are not neutral but serve to reinforce particular power structures. In The History of Sexuality, 1976, Foucault examined how sexuality became a focal point of power in modern societies. Contrary to the common belief that sexuality was repressed in the Victorian era, Foucault argued that it was increasingly regulated and discussed through scientific, medical, and legal discourses. This regulation created new ways of categorizing and controlling individuals, such as the invention of sexual identities like heterosexual and homosexual. Foucault's Genealogy of Power reveals that power is not concentrated in a central authority but is dispersed throughout society. It operates in capillary forms, influencing relationships, institutions, and even self-perception. Importantly, Foucault emphasized that power is not inherently oppressive. It is also productive, shaping social realities and creating possibilities for resistance. One of Foucault's most significant contributions was his method of genealogy, inspired by Nietzsche. Genealogy traces the contingent and often arbitrary origins of social practices and norms. It exposes how historical struggles and power dynamics have shaped what we take for granted as natural or universal. This method challenges essentialist views and opens up possibilities for critique and change. Foucault's ideas have had a profound impact on fields such as sociology, political science, gender studies, and cultural theory. Feminist scholars, for example, have drawn on his work to examine how gender norms are constructed and enforced through power-knowledge relations. Similarly, queer theorists have used Foucault's insights to question the categorization of sexual identities and challenge hegemonic norms. The relevance of Foucault's work extends to contemporary issues such as surveillance, biopolitics, and social control. In an era of digital monitoring and big data, the panopticon serves as a powerful metaphor for understanding how technology reinforces disciplinary power. His analysis of power knowledge also provides tools for critiquing the ways in which scientific and medical discourses shape public policy and individual lives. Foucault's legacy lies not in providing definitive answers but in offering new ways of thinking about power, knowledge, and resistance. By exposing the contingent nature of social norms and institutions, he invites us to question the taken-for-granted structures that shape our lives. His work continues to inspire critical inquiry and remains a cornerstone of contemporary philosophy and social theory.